Kyle Busch recently sparked curiosity with his comments about his future in racing. As a two-time Cup Series champion, Busch's performance this season has been under scrutiny, especially since he's vying for a playoff spot and is yet to secure his first win of 2024. The season has presented challenges for him, which have become a frequent topic of discussion. And in today's video, we'll delve into Kyle Busch's journey and what lies ahead for him at RCR next year. Kyle Busch has been facing a rough patch lately. Cup races, truck races, and tests have all been challenging for him. The issues seem to keep piling up. Earlier this year, it was poor pit stops and sometimes questionable strategy. Recently, he's had some on-track incidents. At Sonoma, he ran out of gas and got bumped by Ross Chastain on the final lap. Bad luck struck again at Iowa with parts breaking on his car during the closing laps. It feels like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for Kyle Busch. There's even speculation that he might want to leave his contract with Richard Childress Racing. RCR apparently has an option for Kyle Busch for the year 2025. While Busch has stated his intention to stay with the team next season, the ongoing silly season in NASCAR has people wondering if he might still make a move. After all, it wouldn't be the first time an RCR driver left before their contract was up. Other teams are also in play. Joe Gibbs Racing has an open seat, and Kyle Busch was asked about a possible reunion with them.
I would say anything's possible always, certainly that if I was welcomed, I would go back. If Hendrick welcomed me back, I would go back. But right now I'm at RCR with my group of guys and in the deal that I have right now in place. And so we're trying to work and build this program and make RCR great again.
Busch is currently 18th on the playoff grid and 31 points out, striving to maintain his record of winning at least one race per year. This is a crucial time for him to concentrate on improving his performance and helping his team, RCR, rather than discussing potential moves to other teams. There's a lot at stake in the second half of the season, and it's essential for Busch to stay focused on the present and work towards better results. When Busch mentioned Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports, it likely did not sit well with Richard Childress or his crew chief, Randall Burnett. RCR brought Busch in because of his leadership and proven track record as a champion. For them, hearing Busch talk about other teams could feel like a betrayal. Busch has always been recognized for his talent, but his situation highlights concerns about his mental approach and commitment. Kyle Busch needs to demonstrate his dedication to RCR, show his leadership skills, and focus on the current season. Instead of entertaining hypothetical scenarios, he should aim to strengthen his bond with his current team and work towards achieving success together. The racing world is highly competitive, and staying committed to your team is a crucial part of achieving long-term success. Can Kyle Busch stay focused and avoid making mistakes? His career shows a mix of handling adversity well and poorly. Sometimes he drives with anger and motivation, showing incredible skill. Other times he makes mental errors that get him suspended or parked. These inconsistencies raise questions about his ability to lead Richard Childress Racing as they expect. Kyle Busch is a two-time Cup Series champion and a future Hall of Famer. He was hired by RCR to be a leader. Even if he leaves at the end of 2025, he still has 18 months to prove his leadership. The team needs him to be a steady and focused leader during this time. Considering hypothetical scenarios, it's uncertain if Kyle Busch returning to Joe Gibbs Racing or JGR would be a good fit. Even if the relationship between Busch and JGR was repaired, it might not make sense for the team. Although Martin Truex Jr. is still performing well, JGR has faced challenges in building a strong future lineup. Busch, now 39, could still race for a few more years, but his best years seem to be behind him. His last peak performance was in 2019, and while he had some good moments last year, it wasn't enough to consider it a full championship season. In his last years at JGR, Busch didn't look as dominant as he used to be. JGR might benefit more from focusing on young talent. Hendrick Motorsports, for example, has a lineup of young and talented drivers. Kyle Larson is the oldest in that group, but still not old by racing standards. JGR has Christopher Bell, who shows potential to be a future champion. Ty Gibbs also has a lot of raw talent. Denny Hamlin continues to be great, and there's talk of Chase Briscoe possibly joining as the fourth driver. Briscoe, at 29, hasn't had the chance to drive a top-tier car. Joining JGR could provide him that opportunity, similar to what happened with Kevin Harvick at Stewart-Haas. Putting Briscoe in a proven JGR car seems like a smart move. Given this strategy, an aging Kyle Busch might not be the best fit for JGR now. If we consider this hypothetical, it's only relevant after 2025 when Busch becomes a free agent. This could make him one of the most interesting free agents next year. Until then, Busch needs to focus on leading RCR effectively and proving that he can stay mentally strong and avoid mistakes. Now let's see his thoughts on various aspects of racing. He expressed confusion over the sudden improvement in car performance between breaks, questioning the legitimacy of such gains.
I don't know why all of a sudden, just between one break of car, they all of a sudden pick up 0.4 of a second, even more with Barry. But that's weird. I don't get it. More weekends go by, the more confused I get.
Busch also criticized the complexity of the qualifying process, suggesting a simpler approach might be better.
Why do we have to make it so complicated? Why do we have to make it so complicated? Oh my gosh. Whatever. I mean, it's good for me. I'm P2 in the first group, right? So I'm fine.
Busch also reflected on Martin Truex Jr.'s announcement of his last full-time year. He recalled their early days in racing when they were both starting out and how they were initially set to share a car.
And him and I actually came in at the same time. Not many people really know it, but he and I were slated to share the Chance 2 car together. And then when I got my opportunity at Hendrick, that gave him the full-time opportunity in the 8 Busch car and me in the 5 Busch car, and we competed for a championship, and he beat me out of the gate with that one. So we've been here the whole time together, and we've always had a great relationship, a great understanding and respect for one another. And it was always fun working with him and being a part of the same team with him. You know, his skill level and how good he is at what he does. And I would say the lesser of the effort that he puts in from others, and yet he can still get good results.
Busch admitted that his days as a top competitor might be numbered, comparing his career to that of Jeff Gordon, who started young and retired at 43.
It's evolution, I guess, of how, this sport happens. I mean, Jeff Gordon came in at 22, 23, and he left at 43 something, so I'm not too far behind. I know my days are numbered.
Busch also discussed the current racing dynamics, mentioning how some drivers race cleanly while others don't.
I mean, we are trying to gracefully fade a little bit more than we should be, and guys are trying to make passes, and the good ones like Denny and a couple others, they take their time and they know the pass is going to end up eventually being made, but then there's some other guys out there where you run them and run them and run them and run them because you've been run into before, and they'll run as hard as they can until they run into you again. And so that's just the nature of how you race people, I guess, and then the nature also of how hard you run guys. And sometimes you got to pick and choose those battles, and you'd like to think that you can race side by side with some of these guys, but some you can't.
Don't forget to share your view in the comments section below. And if you find this video informative, then please give it a like and also hit that subscribe button for more such content. Until then, keep exploring.